Hey there, YouTube family, and welcome back to the Homemade Haven. It's been a long time no see here on our channel. We have had a whole lot going on this year. A lot of unsuspected curveballs thrown at us, but here we are. Still homesteading, still homemaking, still homeschooling. Today I have a couple of things on the agenda to do. One being to start deworming some of our chickens. I've seen signs that they need to be dewormed, and I thought I would show you guys how we're doing this with a natural and holistic method. But for now, I thought I'd take you guys along on the morning chore routine and just kind of give a brief overview of the updates here on our homestead. I'm not going to go into too many details. We'll kind of do more videos on that in the future. As I'm doing chores, you'll kind of see the changes that have been made over the past couple of months. So first, we're going to start off feeding the pigs because they are ready. Watch your head. Watch out. Hi, Jody. Are you hungry? So the last time that we saw you guys, we had 4 Berkshire pigs here on our property. 2 of them were barrows, 1 of them is a gilt, and the other is our boar, Tiny. So our gilt, Big Booty Judy, she's still here. We did take our 2 barrows to the processor back in June and had a very successful outcome from that, very happy. And we have since tried to breed Tiny and Judy. We're still kind of in that beginning stage period where we're not really sure if she's bred just yet, but there are some signs that I think that maybe she is. So we've got our fingers crossed. We're really hoping that she did get bred and that we'll have some piglets maybe the last week of November. She's hungry. She's hungry, Judy. So, judging by the look of our garden, you can probably see that we have had a very busy summer. My stepdad, bonus dad, who's like a dad to me, was in a terrible car accident at the beginning of July and has actually been in a hospital facility ever since then. Today is the middle of September, so it's been a very long journey. We have spent several sleepless nights at the hospital and just taking care of family. So once the accident happened, the garden kind of got put on the back burner. Our main concern was to keep all of our animals alive, to focus on family, and that's exactly what we did. So the garden is a hot mess. Robert is out there right now with the hedge clippers trying to knock down all the weeds. And as you can also hear in the background, we do have a few new additions to the homestead. They are kind of giving themselves away, not making it much of a secret, but let's go check them out. We actually were having a problem with some kind of predator, which now we are assuming was a coyote because we've seen a coyote here in the past couple weeks on the property. But it was snatching our chickens here and there. We lost several chickens over a 2-week span. So we started keeping our chickens locked up a little bit more unless we're going to be home and able to keep an eye on them. And we also got a couple of geese to see if that would help to deter any of the predators. So to the rabbit hutch area, this looks a little bit different from the last time that you guys saw our rabbit setup. Since then, we have had 2 litters of baby rabbits. We'll do a more in-detailed rabbit video here pretty soon to give you guys updates and show you how we're expanding and what we're doing to increase our meat production here on the homestead. We have successfully hatched an entire incubator full of breast chickens, which are now in a chicken tractor across the property to be raised as meat birds, which I will show you guys exactly what that looks like here in just a minute. Those are the birds that we're going to be targeting today as far as parasite control, because that's where I saw the signs of some worm action going on. But because those babies were kept in with our egg layers and our other chickens, it just makes sense to go ahead and deworm everybody all together. Now, if you were using something that wasn't natural or safe to use otherwise, you would just treat the animal that you see having an issue. But because we're going to be using natural methods today, it's totally fine to just treat everybody as a preventative, so that if anybody had caught on to anything, it can just go ahead and flush everybody out and we won't have to deal with that anymore. So we do have a couple of birds starting to go into a molt, which happens a lot of times around the fall, which kind of doesn't make sense because it seems like they would need to keep all their feathers for the winter, but nature is kind of a funny thing. So we've got a couple of ladies in our breast pen that have been shedding feathers like crazy, and the same over in our egg laying pen. So I really have been trying to supplement their calcium and protein to promote healthy feather production. Grubterra is really great for that. It has 75% more calcium than mealworms. And so we use this as a great supplement to help keep them in good health. A lot of times their immune systems kind of get down whenever they're molting or going through some kind of physical change. We just want to set them up for success. We've really been trying to pay attention to their diet and just really up their amount of nutrients. All right, so we are in the kitchen and we are getting ready to put together our little deworming concoction. Our meat birds have not gotten their serving of breakfast yet, so they're gonna be ravenous, which is kind of what I was hoping for whenever I put this out there, because I really want them to eat it, which I don't think we're gonna have any problems with it because it's gonna be a tasty treat to them anyways. There are tons of different views and opinions out there across the internet as to whether these ingredients work or not. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and try them, and I'll film over the next couple of days and let you guys know what the results are. It is the fall season, so we were able to pick up some of these little pie pumpkins from the local store. And then we're going to add in a couple of other potent, well-known worm-killing and expelling vegetables and supplements. So we're also going to use some raw fresh garlic. I've got some comfrey leaves from our plant outside. I've also got some fresh oregano. I've got some dried stinging nettles. This is like a tea form that I drink sometimes. It's really good for flushing kidneys and the excretory system. And then I'm going to use a couple of capsules of my probiotic. This is Plexus Probio 5. I use this every day myself, and I have used this for some of our animals on our property before, as well as some of the other Plexus products. So whenever your chickens or any other animals have a worm load, usually their immune system is suppressed. So adding something with probiotics, you could use a good yogurt or kefir or kefir or however you say that. It will help to boost their immune system and flush the bad bacteria and feed the good bacteria, which is always ideal when you're trying to create a good microbiome. I'm also going to add a little bit of diatomaceous earth, which is a fine powder of like microscopic sea organisms, shells, stuff like that. That's out in the garage. I'm not going to bring that inside and make more of a mess, but I'm just going to kind of roughly chop and dice and add all these together in almost like a chutney. And I'm going to use these pumpkins as a bowl because the pumpkin seeds are supposed to be really good for warding off parasites and that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do this and how I administer it to the chickens, and we'll see if it works. You guys please excuse my kitchen background. I did not clean it before I started this video. This is kind of just the season that we're in right now. It's real life. If I want to do any kind of video content, you guys are just gonna have to come along for the ride and it is what it is. So first I'm gonna break off the stems off the top, and then I'm gonna cut these in half so that we're gonna have 2 separate bowls. I'm also going to go ahead and give a couple to our pigs. Again, I haven't noticed any worms in their poop, but you know, we've had a really hot, humid, wet summer, which is just breeding grounds for worms and parasites. So I just want to make sure that everybody's good and taken care of. All right, so inside we have our seeds, which are what is the most potent part of the pumpkin. Of course, our chickens love the flesh of the pumpkin too. They're gonna eat it all together. So I'm just gonna remove them. You could probably leave them in there and just add everything on top of them, but I wanna give them like a rough chop, just so that they're easier to consume for our chickens. Oh gosh, they're so slimy. Okay, so just a very rough chop, trying to break some of those seeds up. You can definitely do this in like a blender or food processor or something like that. I don't necessarily want it to be a smoothie. I mean, I guess if your chickens will drink it, that's fine. My chickens are a little picky. Is it just my chickens or is it everybody else's chickens? I'm also going to treat their water. I'm going to put some apple cider vinegar in their water, which is also a great flushing compound. So we're just gonna treat this with all the things. I'm gonna throw everything at them because we ain't got time to have no worm infestations here on the homestead. Okay, so for this half pumpkin, I just chopped up 2 of the comfrey leaves. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for this. I'm sure somebody on YouTube is probably gonna correct me, but it's fine. Couple sprigs of oregano, just a rough chop. Oregano is a great natural antibiotic. A lot of times when chickens have a worm load, they can get like respiratory stuff going on, other like secondary infection kind of things. So oregano is just a great addition to add. I'm gonna do a good, probably about a tablespoon of this nettles, dried nettles in there. Then I'm gonna add, this is probably like, let's go 3 cloves of garlic. They're kind of small cloves. Garlic is also a great natural antibiotic. And then last thing inside, because we're still gonna add that DE when we get outside, I'm gonna add 1 capsule of my probiotic. This actually looks like a vegetarian dish that you would get from like some fancy restaurant or something and pay a lot of money for. So we're gonna take this in the garage, we're gonna add a little bit of DE to it, and I'm gonna mix it all up in there, and then this will be ready to give to our chickens. All right, so now we are ready to add our DE to all of these pumpkins and get them out to the animals. I'm just gonna give it generous sprinkle in there. Okay, so we got our pumpkins, and I've got a big jug of apple cider vinegar in the back of the side-by-side. We usually keep that on hand for putting in waterers just every so often. It's just a good cleansing method, but we're definitely going to use it today to help to flush any kind of worms or parasites. And a last minute add, I thought about this, I'm gonna add some vitamins and electrolytes to their waters as well. This isn't something that you add like every time. Usually you just give fresh, clean water, but in times of stress, which is what I'm seeing whenever I'm seeing worms, and then of course with heat and any other types of stressors, maybe you've had a predator and your chickens are just freaked out or whatever it is, adding some vitamins and electrolytes to their water is always beneficial. So here we are at our meat bird tractor. We're on the other side of our garden beds in our orchard area. We've been running them through the orchard because we've got a chicken forage blend on the ground, and they've been loving that. So I've actually been moving them twice a day because it seems like they are putting a lot of pressure on the ground, moving it just once a day. So I've been moving them in the morning. Do you mind? And in the evening. They are probably pretty riled up. Like I said, I have not did their morning feeding, so they're going to be ready for these pumpkins once I put them in there. I'm going to go ahead and move them so that they're not eating on top of their poop that's been there since yesterday, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. In we go with our pumpkins. Come on, chickie, chickie. Come on, chickie, chickie. Well, I put 2 pumpkins so that you guys all wouldn't have to be eating out of the same one. Now I'm going to add the stuff to their waterers. So what I do is just a splash. I feel like a good splash, that's probably maybe half a cup. This is a 3-gallon waterer, which is not full all the way. It's almost down to 2 gallons. So, you know, maybe 1/4 cup per gallon is about what I do. This does have instructions on it. It says the enclosed scoop equals 5 grams. So mix 1 scoop per gallon of drinking water. So I'm going to do 2 scoops since we have about 2 gallons of water in this waterer currently. So I'm going to let them eat on their pumpkin chutney here for a little bit. They're on fresh grass now too, which they do enjoy nibbling off of that. And once I see that their pumpkins have been ingested for the most part, then I'll come back and feed them their regular feed a little bit later in the evening. But I really want to target this group because this is the group that I saw the worms in the poop. So I want to make sure that they are getting as much of that pumpkin mixture as they can. I will report back in a couple of days as to whether I think that this mixture has worked specifically for these chickens or not. Definitely moving them to fresh grass twice a day is very beneficial. You're getting them off of that poop that has the worms in it, and so you're just giving them a better fighting chance to get away from the worms that are already present. Anytime that you can rotate your animals onto fresh ground to break that parasite cycle is really the way to go, and that's really what we have tried to model here on our homestead. Hey, that's enough. Come on. Come on, look. There you go. Have some. It's kind of spicy, huh? All right, so it has been about a week since I gave our chickens and the rest of our animals here on our property their pumpkin natural dewormer solution. And I have been monitoring these guys in particular, our meat birds. These were the ones that I had mentioned that I had seen evidence of worms in their poop, and they were just showing some other signs of being a little bit sniffly. Over the past week, I have progressively seen that get a little bit less and a little bit less every single day. And I have been checking poop every day, twice a day, because I move this tractor twice a day, and I have not seen any worms in their poop in the past week, which has been a huge win to me. I think also the fact that they are getting moved twice a day, they are getting off of those live worms and eggs that are there, so they are being moved to a clean environment and their system just has a chance to catch up. But I definitely think that the dewormer little cocktail that we came up with did help these birds. And like I said, I didn't notice any signs of worms with my other birds, so I can't report back as far as they go. But as far as this select group of chickens here, I have definitely seen a difference, and so I'm really excited about that. Anytime that we can do something and not use medications or anything like that on our animals, I am just overjoyed that we can keep it completely natural and mostly organic and the way that nature was intended to be. I will continue to keep an eye on them as we move them over the next couple of weeks. I may go ahead and do another dose in about a week or two, just with the worm life cycle. Even though they are getting off of their poop and not going to be there when those worm life cycles continue, just for my own peace of mind, just go ahead and dose everybody again so that I know that everybody is good and clean and taken care of, because these guys are due to be processed around the first week of December, and we're at the end of September now, and we definitely don't want to have to worry about any kind of parasite infestation whenever it comes time to process these birds. I do appreciate you guys coming along on this video with us and seeing the results of our natural dewormer solution and how to make it, and also getting a brief catch up here on the homestead. Like I said, we have had a lot going on the past couple of months, so this video is long overdue. We hope to get some more content rolling out over the next couple of weeks and get back on track with our YouTube channel and other social media platforms. So we appreciate your patience if you have still been following along. Thank you guys for being here. If you could give us thumbs up and share this video with others who you think might benefit from it, that helps our channel greatly. It's time for me to get to work feeding everybody here on the homestead this morning. So we will plan to see you guys on the next video. Until then, see you later.